सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी। जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ। त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी। वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ। बुद्ध गगन के तारे। जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ। महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे। परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ। समर्थ बनाओ। जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ। त्यागो सारी दुर्बलता को राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ। बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर शुभ संदेश हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा। भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरम्। वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
रेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुराः पाणिर्मधुराः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
तरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीथी मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपी मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जल भज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति हूँ लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर है सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संभारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय।
सच्चिदानन्दम्
संस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ। भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा, ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ। त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ। त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी, वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ। बुद्ध गगन के तारे, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ। महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे, परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ। समर्थ बनाओ। जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ। त्यागो सारी दुर्बलता को, राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ। बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर, शुभ संदेश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
Jai Shri Krishna to everyone. Bowing down to all our gurus before the start of the program. Swami Vivekananda said on Guru, I quote, "He alone teaches who has something to give, for teaching is not talking. Teaching is not imparting doctrines, it is communicating." A warm welcome to all the sadhakas who have joined us for interpretation session of chapter 1, Arjuna Vishad Yoga. The chapter which deals with the greatest warrior Arjun's despondency, seeing all his relatives against whom he has to fight, and how Bhagavan Krishna tells him what his dharma is, and he needs to do his dharma rather than turn away from war. Let's begin our session with prayer. Prayer is considered to be an integral part of our culture. Of our culture, and it helps us to develop a relationship with God. Just like your parents here on earth, if your heavenly forefathers want to hear from you. When we pray to God, our prayers are answered in the form of thoughts, spiritual feelings, scriptures, or even the actions of other people. Today, Arambha Pratana is by Rajeshwari ji from Bangalore. Didi is a homemaker with interest in yoga and music. Rajeshwari ji is a tech for L1, L2 and L3 and is a group coordinator as well as Sadhak of L3. Please note that Didi joined Geeta Parivar in January 2023, this year, and she is doing so many sevas. I request each one of you to do some seva as per your ability and time. Let's invoke the blessings of Lord Krishna. Rajeshwari Didi, please.
Jai Shri Krishna Didi. Thank you. वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दो कृष्णो वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णो वन्दे जगद्गुरुं.
Thank you, Didi, for that melodious prayer. Now, it's time for Deepa Prajwalan. Shubham karoti kalyanam, arogyam dhana sampada, shatru buddhi vinashaya, Deepa jyotir namostute. I fold my hands before the light that brings prosperity, auspiciousness, good health, abundance of wealth, and destruction of the enemy's intellect. May I request Suvarna Kanthurji from Tirupati for Deepa Prajwalan. Suvarna ji is a postgraduate homemaker with interest in painting. Didi joined Geeta Parivar in January 2022 and is giving seva as tech trainer and group coordinator. Suvarna ji, please.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you for a devotional and beautiful Deepa Prajwalan. I would like to inform all the participants that you may ask questions once the session is over. Raise your hands only after the session is over, please. Now it's time for the most anticipated part of the session. Our speaker for the day is Vikas Vaidyaji from Pune. Vikas ji is a mechanical engineer and has done PGDBM also. Bhaiya is a trainer for L1 to L4 and trainer's trainer for all levels and knows 6 languages. And that 2 foreign languages are also there. He is also involved in teaching and vivechan of Vishnu Sahasranamam. Vikas ji also gives guidance to Geeta Vratis to prepare for Sringeri Peeth Geeta exam. Bhaiya himself has received first prize at the hands of Param Pujya Jagat Guru Shankaracharya. Over to you, Vikas ji.
जय श्री कृष्ण. पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन. We are studying Adhyay first, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna's Vishad, sadness, distress will start in a few shlokas from now. Last time we covered shlok up to 10th, I think. So we'll start with shlok number 11. Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yatha bhagamavasthitaha bhishmameva bhirakshantu bhavantas sarva evahi. Ayaneshu. Ayaneshu means the strategic location. Ayaneshu. The military is always positioned at strategic locations so that it can attack the enemy in a good way. So Ayaneshu. Sarveshu. Everywhere. Yatha bhagama. Bhagama is differently. Yatha as differently arranged. Avasthita. Avasthita is established or situated. Abhirakshantu. Abhirakshantu is to give support or to protect. Bhavanta. Bhavanta is you, your good self. What we say in Hindi, aap. So that aap is Bhavanta. Sarva. All. So this shloka says, Sanjay is describing everything, that Duryodhana said, all of you. Now see, he is telling Guru Dronacharya, and see the language. All of you take your positions in the respective places to make sure that Bhishma Pitamaha is well protected and well supported from all sides. So he's almost instructing his own Guru Dronacharya, that all of you, including you, Guru Dronacharya, you take your positions in respective places and make sure that Pitamaha Bhishma is well protected, well supported in all situations. Now, instructing master soldiers and war wizards, like versatile in strategies and tactics of battle, exposes Duryodhana's arrogance. To instruct his own guru, it definitely shows his arrogance and maybe the nervousness also. He was nervous, directing all of them to protect Bhishma at all costs. He is instructing. It makes even more clear the element of doubt in his mind about Bhishma. This is another way of looking at it, because Pitamaha Bhishma has had a soft corner for Pandavas. In fact, he tried several times to tell Duryodhana not to enter into war, because he knew that we are on the wrong side. But Duryodhana did not budge and the war was to start. So he had this doubt that Pitamaha Bhishma, in the heart of heart, is like to support Pandavas. So he should be kept watch on. Maybe this is the reason. He said, you all of you be protective to Pitamaha Bhishma. Actually, Pitamaha Bhishma hardly needed anybody's protection to protect him, because no warrior could equal his fighting excellence of Pitamaha Bhishma. A doubting man who is doubting his own senior commanders. This doubting man is, of course, Duryodhana, who is doubting his own senior commanders like Pitamaha Bhishma. He can hardly be an ideal leader in the war. How can you doubt your own commanders? And if you look at it from non-political view, it may also mean that Duryodhana wanted to genuinely, honestly protect his senior-most warrior, Pitamaha Bhishma, in the war. Because if the senior-most commander of the army falls down in the attack from the enemy, then the whole army goes haywire. So to protect the senior-most commander is also a strategy which is followed in the war. And this is also probably the reason that Duryodhana is asking Guru Dronacharya to protect, support Pitamaha Bhishma from all sides. Now, having said that, we go to next shloka, shloka number 12. Tasya sanjanayan harshang guruvruddhah pitamaha simvanadav vinadyav chaish shankhan dadmau pratapavan. Tasya means his sanjanayan. Sanjanayan means nothing to do with Sanjaya. Sanjanayan means to increase, to elevate, to uplift. Harsha is cheerfulness. Kuru Vruddha, the senior most in the Kuru dynasty. Kuru Vruddha, that means Pitamaha Bhishma. Simhanad, roaring sound like that of lion. Simhanad. Vinadya, vibrating. Uchchai, very high level, very loud. Shankha is conch shell. You sound the shankha, you blow the shankha. That shankha is conch shell. Dadmo is to blow. And Pratapavan is someone who is very impressive. Now Pitamaha Bhishma, he probably saw that Duryodhana is getting nervous. So to boost up his moral, to boost up his cheerfulness, what did Pitamaha Bhishma do? The Pitamaha, the mighty grandfather of all Kauravas and Pandavas, sensing Duryodhana's nervousness, and to boost Duryodhana's moral and to please him, he blew his conch very, very loudly. He blew his conch shell very, very loudly and making the sound like that roar of a lion. Simhanad, Vinadhyachai. Now the sagging moral of a king, in this case Duryodhana, who is present on the battlefield, particularly when it has been sensed by his generals. When it has been sensed by his generals, like Pitamaha Bhishma sensed it, the sagging moral of the king, it can work like a hole in the bottom of a flag warship. If the warship has a hole at its bottom, what will happen? It will sink. So Pitamaha Bhishma, the veteran soldier of distinguished eminence, he captured this moment and he decided to boost up Duryodhana's moral and injected the booster dose by blowing his conch shell, filling the sky with its roaring sound. The whole atmosphere was filled with that huge loud sound of Pitamaha Bhishma's blowing the conch shell. Now blowing the conch shell is anyway very beneficial. I do it every day. Try this someday. When your mind is restless, which most of the time is, try blowing the conch shell. First of all, you will have to take a long deep breath. Fill up your chest with a lot of air. Because the sound will be produced only after the long forceful exhalation. The sound from the conch shell gets produced when you exhale. So you fill up your chest with a lot of air, lot of oxygen, and then when you exhale forcefully through that conch shell, it makes that huge sound. And the sound that emerges from conch shell, it resonates in the forehead, here in the forehead, and the sound vibrations produced have a deep effect on your body, particularly your lungs and the nervous system. So to boost up and to keep your lungs healthy and to keep your nervous system in place healthy, it is a good practice to try and blow the conch shell every morning, 3 times. So on seeing the discouraged, nervous Duryodhana, grandfather Pitamaha Bhishma, he blew his conch to elevate his fears and to instill some kind of confidence in him. What happens next is Tadashankhaschya bheryascha Panavanaka Gomukhaha Sahasaivaabhyahanyanta Sashabdastumulo Bhavat. Was Pitamaha Bhishma, he blew his conch shell, Tata, thereafter, Shankha, conch shell, Bhairya. Bhairya is large drums, what we call in Hindi, dhol, nagade. So that Bhairya, Panava Anaka. Panava Anaka is small drums, kettle drums, or some instrument like Mrudunga. Gomukhaha. Gomukhaha is the horn. Sahasa. Sahasa is suddenly, all of a sudden. Abhyahanyanta started sounding. Shabda, the combined sound of all the instruments which were played suddenly. Tumula, tumultuous. Tumula, very, very loud. Abhavata, become. So when Pitamaha Bhishma, he blew his conch shell very, very loudly. Soon after that, the war hysteria, it engulfed the Kaurava army. Everybody in Kaurava side got charged up with the blowing of conch shell by Pitamaha Bhishma. And the other conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, horns were all sounded suddenly all together. And the combined sound produced was intensely blustering and thunderous. Now in those times, along with the weapons and the artillery, musical instruments too were brought to the battlefield, which is not done now, but those days. The loud booming sound thus played by the instrument, it used to create and instill great confidence even in the weak soldiers. Even the weak, feeble soldiers also used to get charged up with that sounding of musical instruments. We experience this on every 26th of January and 15th of August. When the songs of patriotism and nationalism are going all around on radio, on TV, on FM channels, everywhere, then we also get charged up with the national spirit and the spirit of patriotism. The musicians gathered at the battlefield, they would create this thunderous, moral boosting sound like we experience. And this was done before the start of the fight, before the start of the war. Having done that, at the end of the day, because in Mahabharata, the war used to get played between Kauravas and Pandavas, morning, sunrise till sunset. After sunset, ceasefire till next day. So after that ceasefire, after the sunset, the same musicians used to gather at the who used to gather at the battlefield. What they would do, they would be playing the calming music or the soothing music for the injured soldiers. During the day, hundreds, thousands of soldiers would get injured. When they are resting in their camps, these musicians would go and play the calming, soothing music for them. This calming music would act like a healing balm for the wounded soldiers. So music had very important role in the battles for those days. What an interesting usage of music during the war. But then it used to be a righteous war. War used to be fought based on some certain rules. And that was being fought ethically with some kind of integrity, wisdom, and rules. Unlike today's wars, when the enemy can enter into your residential area and can start bombing the residential areas as well. This was not done in those days. That's why Kurukshetra was selected, so that all residential areas do not get harmed due to war between Kauravas and Pandavas. This place was to get used to get selected, in this case Kurukshetra. What happens next? 14th. Tadashvetairhayiryukte mahadisyandane sthitau madavah pandavaschaivo divyau shankhau pradadmaduhu. This shloka needs clapping from all of us, because this denotes the entry of Lord Krishna on the battlefield. Tata Shvetairhayiryukte, thereafter, Shvet, white, Hai, horses, Yukte, being pulled, Mahati, Mahati is great, Syandane, Syandane is Ratha, chariot, Sthitau, How is situated? Madhava, Lord Krishna, Pandava, Arjuna, Divya, divine, Shankho, conch shell, we know it, Pradadmatuhu, to blow. Thereafter, something happened which charged up all Pandavas. What happened? As this clamorous sound on one side, a great chariot drawn by the pristine white horses, Shvetair Heiryukte, entered the battlefield. And who was there in the chariot? Lord Krishna and Arjuna were seated on the chariot, and then they sounded their divine conch shells. So this is the entry of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad-Gītā on the field of Kurukshetra. So what a beautiful description in this shloka. See, although Bhagavad-Gītā is Lord Krishna's divine song, but it is written by Maharishi Vedavyas, and he wrote it down from his memory. Try to visualize. Imagine in front of you the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and imagine the scenario through your heart. The celestial white pristine horses drawing the grand chariot, grand Ratha, and seated on this chariot is our beloved, magnificent Lord Krishna. In his yellow satin clothes and beautiful peacock feathers adorning the bejeweled crown on his head, his face beaming with lustrous radiance, a dazzling smile on his lips, which normally we see any photo of Lord Krishna, you see he has a typical smile on his face, always smiling face, and immersed in sheer bliss. What an enchanting and pleasing sight that could be. Lord Krishna entering the battlefield. Now Shri Krishna is holding the horses of the chariot. He is performing the role of a charioteer, while Arjuna is standing at the back of the chariot, at the back of the Ratha. Such a chariot, it entered the battlefield, and Lord Shri Krishna responded to the sounds emanating from the Kauravas' camp by blowing his own divine conch shell. Lord Krishna sounded his own conch shell, and it goes without saying that the resultant sound resonated everywhere. Paramatma sounding his conch shell, it will resonate the whole world, obviously. This divine sound, it instilled great enthusiasm in the generals of Pandavas' camps, and they too started blowing their conch shells afterwards. So blowing of conch shell from Pandava's side was started by Lord Krishna, and then after Arjuna. We go to next shloka, 15. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattandananjayah Paundrandadmau Mahashankham Bhimakarma Vrukodaraha. Panchajanyam Rishikesho. Panchajanya is the name of conch shell which was blown by Lord Krishna. Rishikesha. Rishikesha is of course Lord Krishna. Devadatta. Devadatta is the name of conch shell which was blown by Arjuna. Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is Arjuna. Poundram. Poundra was the name of conch shell blown by Bhima. Dadmo is to blow. Mahashankam, very, very big, terrific conch shell. That Mahashankam was of Lord Bhima. Bhima Karma. Bhima Karma, a person who performs very huge Herculean tasks, is Bhima Karma. Vrukodara. Vrukodaraha, someone whose udar, whose belly, whose stomach is so big that he can eat anything at any time and whatever amount. He is always hungry. He can eat anything, anytime, in whatever quantity. So Vrukodara, person having a very, very huge amount of hunger all the time. So Lord Krishna, he blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his conch shell known as Devadatta. And Bhima, the performance of Herculean task, he blew his marvelous, huge conch shell called Poundra. Now Shri Krishna's conch was called Panchajanya. And what a befitting name that was, Panchajanya. Panchajanya denotes the composite of 5 symbols. When a sound is produced, this becomes possible with interplay of 5 elements. Sound vibrations travel in air. Air exists in ether, that means sky. The fire element plays an important role, integral role in this. The 5 elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. They constitute the entire manifest world, including not only your body and my body, but even the body of Lord Krishna. It was consisting of this Pancha Mahabhuta. Moreover, there are 5 sense organs. We have 5 Jnanendriya and 5 Karmendriyas in our body. Hence, a very apt name of Panchajanya, denoting all these 5. Now, Arjuna's conch shell was named Devadatta. Deva means divine, Deva, and virtuous. Arjuna was of a pure and noble disposition, which justifies the name of its conch shell as Devadatta. This conch was given to Arjuna by King Indra when Pandavas, they performed the Rajasuya Yajna. On the other hand, Bhima, who was physically very, very strong and robust, his conch shell was called Poundra, which produced a frightening and monstrously huge sound. So the conch shells reflected their individual personalities: Panchajanya, Rishikesh, Devadatta, Arjuna, and Poundra, Bhima. Scriptures, our Adhyatmic mythological literature, it describes Arjuna as embodiment of Teja. Out of Panchamahabhuta, all Pandavas are symbols of Panchamahabhuta. Arjuna representing Teja. And Bhima, embodiment of Vayu. Vayu in storm, Vayu in cyclone is very, very destructive, like the characteristic of Bhima. Bhima was very destructive. So there are stories in scriptures comparing and identifying 5 Pandavas with Panchamahabhuta. Panchamahabhuta means earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Now, the question may come to our mind is, were these people in the battlefield for fighting or for blowing their conch shells? Why everybody is blowing his conch shell instead of starting the fight? But remember that this was a war being fought by people who were wise. They knew that doing so would infuse courage and enthusiasm in their soldiers and simultaneously dampen the spirit of their enemies. So to dampen the spirit of enemies and to boost up the morale of your own soldiers, you blow the conch shell. What happens next? 16th sloka. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha Nakulas Sahadevascha Subhoshamani Pushpakau. This series of blowing of conch shell continues. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha Nakulas Sahadevascha Subhosha Mani Pushpakau. Sons of Kunti. The king Yudhishthira, he blew his conch shell named Ananta Vijaya, along with Nakul and Sahadeva, whose conch shells were called Sughosha and Mani Pushpak, respectively. Sughosh and Mani Pushpak. Actually, Arjuna, Bhima, and Yudhishthira, 3 were Kunti's sons, while Nakul and Sahadeva were Madri's sons. They were not Kunti's sons, they were Madri's sons. So the adjective here used, Kunti Putra, is basically used for Yudhishthira. So Nakul Sahadeva also used to call Kunti as their mother only. She was also like mother there only. But their real mother was Madri, not Kunti. Now Yudhishthira has been called king, Raja, because he was the ruler of half of the Indraprastha kingdom before they went to Vanvasa, before exile. And according to the promise and according to the law even that time, he should have been the king after coming back from that exile and that Vanvas incognito residence of 1 year. Moreover, by calling him king, probably Sanjaya wanted to give a hint that he would be the king of entire territory afterwards. Maybe he imagined the result of war and then he said probably that Yudhishthira is going to be the king. So he calls him king. Now Yudhishthira is known as Dharmaraja, which literally means king of Dharma. Dharmaraj, king of Dharma. But here Dharma does not refer to the absolute truth. We call Dharma in Bhagavad Gita as Dharma means one who has understood his Dharma, his duty, and Dharma is knowing yourself. Your Swa, self-realization and God realization is Dharma. So this Dharmaraj, which was Yudhishthira's calling, he was not Dharmaraj in that sense. Rather, it represented the social rules on moral conduct, which Yudhishthira followed very precisely. And that is why he was referred to as Dharmaraj. He used to follow the social rules and the rules of moral conduct. Not that he had done self-realization or the God realization. That Dharma is different. This Dharma is different. But even though he was called Dharmaraj, he nevertheless did commit a blunder, an error of judgment, when by gambling away, he gambled his brothers and his wife in the gamble with Kauravas. But that one lapse did not wipe out all his character. His quality was he never lost his cool. He was extremely respectful to all elders, including Dhritarashtra. He was very well aware of Duryodhana's animosity towards Pandavas, but he always stopped even Bhima from retaliating, saying that our Dharma doesn't allow this. Anger cannot be a tool of retaliation. So these were the principles which he was following, and that was the reason he was called Dharmaraj. All these reasons he was called Dharmaraj. As I said, Dharma following social rules and moral conduct is different than the Dharma of knowing the absolute truth. What is absolute truth? Knowing Swa, knowing self-realization and the God realization. So that Dharma is different. That requires highest wisdom. Yudhishthira was in the former category of Dharma, social rules and moral conduct. Okay, we go to 17th sloka now. Kasyascha parameshvasah shikandi cha maharatah drushtadhyamno viratascha satyakischa parajitah. Kashya means the king of Kashi. Parameshvasah, the great archer. Maharatah. Maharatha, by definition, is one who can fight against 1,000 people alone, or one who can lead a team of 10,000 soldiers from his side. He is called Maharatha. Drushtadhyamno. He was the son of King Drupad, Virat, the king who had given shelter to Pandavas when they were in the disguise for 1 year. That place of incognito, they stayed there for 1 year. So King Virat was the king who gave them shelter during that 1 year. Satyaki aparajitaha. Satyaki, who had never been won over by his opponent. So this shloka says, or let us read shloka 18 also. Shloka 17 and 18 almost go together. Shloka 18. Drupado Draupadeyascha Sarvashah Prithvi Pate Saubhadrashcha Mahabahush Shankhan Dadmah Prathak Prathak. The king of Kashi. The king of Kashi was excellent archer, and Shikhandi, the great fighter, Maharatha. Drushtadhyamno, Virat, and the unconquerable Satyaki, they all blew their conch shells. Thereafter, Drupad, the son of Draupadi, and the mighty armed, extraordinarily handsome son of Subhadra, and Arjuna, who Abhimanyu. They blew their conch shells. Now, this great fighter, Maharatha Shikhandi, was very brave. In his previous life, previous birth, he was a woman, daughter named Amba of King of Kashi. This Shikhandi was Amba in his previous birth. And in this birth also, when born, he was born as a daughter to King Drupad. Afterwards, she became a man. by getting a manhood from a Jaini. That is the story. Bhishma knew all this, and therefore he regarded Shikhandi as a woman and did not shoot any arrows at him. At woman, he would not shoot any arrow. So Arjuna, while fighting, kept this in mind, and he always kept Shikhandi ahead and shot arrows at Bhishma, and then in the process overthrew Bhishma from his ratha, from his chariot, taking advantage of his weakness against Shikhandi. So that was Shikhandi. Now Arjuna's son Abhimanyu, he was very, very brave. In the warfare, he killed many, many warriors by entering in the Chakravyuha, that means the array of soldiers, in the form of circle, which was formed by Dronacharya. But then, when they thought that he is unconquerable, Abhimanyu, the 6 great warriors from side of Kauravas, from the army of Kauravas, they surrounded him and by foul means attacked him with weapons. He was killed when Dushasana's son hit him on the head with his gada, with his mace. He was hit on the back side of his head from the back. Because otherwise he was not getting killed. His bravery was destroying Kaurava's army. Now Sanjaya mentions only one warrior, that is Bhishma, Pitamaha Bhishma, who blew his conch shell from Kaurava's army. While he mentioned 18 warriors, if you count all the warriors which were named in the previous shlokas, 18 warriors who blew their conch shells from Pandava's side. Lord Krishna, Arjuna, Bhima, Yudhishthira, Snakula, Sahadeva, 5 sons of Draupadi, etc., etc., etc. So total 18 warriors are named by Sanjaya as they blew their conch shells in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. It seems Sanjaya did not want to describe the unrighteous side of Kaurava's army in great details. But he had great regard for Lord Krishna, the Pandavas, and the Pandavas' army, because he knew that they are on the right side. Pandava's side was the side of righteousness. So he thought it proper, Sanjaya, to describe the warriors of Pandava army in more details. And he took delight in describing Pandavas in great details. We go to next shloka, 19. Sogosho dhartarashtraణam hridaya nivyadharayat navasya prithivim tumulo vyanunadayan. So, some is that Ghosho. Ghosh means sound, vibrations. Dhartarashtran, sons of the Rashtra. Hridayani, the hearts. Vyadarayat, Vyadarayat is shattered. Nabha, sky. Prithivim, the earth. Tumul, very, very loud. Vyanunadayan, the sound and its echo. When we go to the hilltop and shout loudly, we get an echo. So this is Vyanunadayan. So this terrible dream, the blowing of these different conch shells, they become very, very loud, vibrating and sounding both in the sky and on the earth. That loud sound shattered the hearts of sons of Dharatra. So Gosho Dhartarashtranam Hridayani Vyadarayat Navasya Prithivim Tumulo Vyanunadayan. Sagosho Dhartarashtranam Hridayani Vyadarayat Navasya Prithivim Tumulo Vyanunadayan. The sound of the conch shells of Pandava army was so thunderous, so roaring, so horrifying that it echoed through the sky and earth. And it shattered the hearts of Kauravas, who had snatched away the empire from Pandavas, and also of the kings who were supporting Kauravas, who had come to fight from the side of Kauravas. It means that as a weapon, it shatters the heart and causes it pain. So does the sound of these conchs. The sound discouraged the Kaurava army and its warriors. They were horror-struck with that huge sound which filled the sky and the earth. Now here the question may arise as why there was the effect of sound of the war instruments such as this conch and drums and everything of 11 Akshayani army. That was the size of army of Kauravas. The proportion of Kaurava versus Pandava was 7 versus 11. The Kauravas army was 11 Akshauhini. We can go into details of what is Akshauhini. Akshauhini is 10, maybe around 1,09,350 soldiers, then 65,000 horses, then maybe 22,000 rathas. All this constitutes one Akshauhini. Like that, 11 Akshauhini army Kauravas had. And while Pandavas, they had 7 Akshauhini. But here we are talking of Kauravas getting shattered because of the sounding of conch shells by Pandavas army. But why there is no shattering of Pandavas' heart because of conch shells being blown by Kauravas? The answer is that the hearts of those who are righteous and just they cannot be shattered. They have got a strong heart because they are on the right side. The truth is on their side. That truth makes their heart very, very strong. Nobody can shatter those hearts. The strength of truth is such huge that nobody can shatter the truth. Nobody can shatter their heart who are on the right side. Pandavas had ruled over the empire with justice and righteousness before their exile, and also demanded their empire from Kauravas legitimately, which was also a just demand. On the other hand, the hearts of those who are unrighteous, like Kauravas, unjust and sinful, like Kauravas, their hearts are weak, doubtful, and full of fear. They may be strong physically, but in the heart they are weak because they know we are doing something wrong. It is their sin or injustice which weakens their heart. So unrighteous people have weak heart, righteous people have strong heart. This is the conclusion we can draw. Duryodhana and his group, they tried their best to kill Pandavas by any means. They snatched their empire and caused them much trouble. They did not leave a single opportunity to trouble Pandavas. Thus, they stood on the side of unrighteousness, Kauravas. So the sound of the conch of 7 Akshauhini army of Pandavas, it shattered the hearts of 11 Akshauhini army of Kauravas. Now this incident, it reminds one more thing, that a striver, a sadhak, he should never have unjust and unrighteousness dealings through his body, through his speech, or through his mind. Geeta treats actions taken by your body, by speech, or mind as your karma. Shri Vangmano Viryat Karma Prarabhate Nara. There is a shloka in 18th Adhyay. All the kriyas of your body, your speech, and your mind are your karmas. So don't be unjust and unrighteous in your action which you take through your body, through your speech, or through your mind. Because this weakens the heart and it creates fear. For example, Ravana was very, very powerful. Everybody used to get scared of him. He was such powerful, even the gods, demigods used to get scared of Ravana. That was his bravery. That was his power. That was his strength. But when he abducted Sita, he being terrified, knowing that he had done something wrong, he looked here and there to see if anyone is watching him, because he had done a bad act. So when you do a bad act, you obviously become weak in your heart. You become fearful. So from this shloka, what we understand is this: don't follow any unjust or unrighteous means to achieve your objective. Otherwise, you will have a very weak side on your side. Okay, we go to next shloka now. 20. अथ व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पाते धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डवः. अथ, thereupon, now, व्यवस्थितान्, well standing, situated, drashtva, to seeing, Dhartarashtra, the sons of Dharashtra, Kapidhvaja, Kapi, Hanuman, Dvaja, flag, Pravritte, about to start. Shastra Sampate, just starting to use the weapons. Shastra Sampate. Dhanu, Dhanu is Dhanusha, bow. Udyamya, to take up, to lift. And Pandava is, of course, Arjuna. So, Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra that after that, Arjuna, on whose chariot was hoisted a flag with the photo of Hanumana. Arjuna's Ratha was having a flag bearing the photo of Hanumana. He looked at the sons of Dhritarashtra standing firmly in the military array and lifted his bow in preparation for the battle. As if the war is just to start, Arjuna lifted his Dhanusha, seated in the chariot, which was having a flag bearing the photo of Hanumana. Now, Vedavyas is saying that there is a flag with a symbol of Hanuman on it, on the chariot of Arjuna, which is hoisted on the chariot of Arjuna, which was driven by, charioteer was Lord Krishna. This is not a mere coincidence. There is a meaning behind it. The one who had appeared as Lord Shri Ram in the previous era, he only appeared as Shri Krishna in this era. Hanuman had played a very pivotal role in Ramayana. As we all know, today is Hanuman Jayanti. When I am saying this to you, I think we should remember that Hanuman Jayanti has just passed a couple of days back. And that Hanuman Jayanti was the time when we all remember not only Lord Rama, also equally Lord, Hanumana. Hanumana had a very, very pivotal role in the whole of Ramayana. Now, when he was on the side of Lord Rama and he helped immensely on all fronts in the army of Lord Rama, be it assembling the army or tracing the whereabouts of Sita and much more. So now when Lord Krishna was facing the situation of war, how was it possible that Hanumana would keep away from it? Is it possible? Ultimately, Lord Krishna was reincarnation of Lord Rama only. So how could Hanumana keep away? Can Hanumana be separated from Rama? Never, cannot imagine. So it is believed that both Hanuman and Bhima, they were the sons of Vayu, Lord of Wind. And as the story goes, once Draupadi asked Bhima to bring some kind of flower from the hilltop. When Bhima climbed the mountain from where the tree was there, bearing that flower, when he reached the top, it is said, he met Hanuman on that hilltop. The aging Hanumana was sleeping on the ground with his tail stretched out, which was obstructing the path of Bhima when he was going on the mountain. And Bhima, not being very intelligent, not so sharp, he almost shouted, yelled at Hanumana to move his tail. I am going up, please move your tail. It is obstructing my way. Hanumana did not say anything. But when Bhima ordered him again and again, Hanumanji, he finally spoke. He said, I am old, so how can I move this long, heavy tail? My dear, why don't you help me and move this tail yourself? So Bhima decided to do it himself. First, he tried to move the tail by pushing it with his feet, like any arrogant person would do. But he did not budge. Then he grabbed it with his mighty hands and tried to lift it up. It still did not move an inch. Now Bhima got scared. And he realized that this was no ordinary being. He is something different. He bowed down and with folded hands and then asked Hanumanji to reveal his true identity. Who are you? Hanumanji then appeared in his real form and said, I am your elder brother. I am also the son of Vayu. You are also the son of Vayu. I am your elder brother, Bhima, and I have come here to advise you. Use your intellect in the war. Don't use only your power, but use your intellect in the war that you will be fighting in the near future. Don't underestimate your opponent's power by merely going on his physical appearance. Don't make the error of judgment. Use your intellect. So at the time of war, when all the supporters, friends, relatives of Pandavas, they came together, oh, Hanuman could remain away. So he did not remain away. He also joined Pandavas, but in the form of a sign on the flag. Not in his physical form, but in the sign of on the flag. But since it was not Hanuman's era, he did not manifest in the physical form because it was different era. Hanuman is immortal. He could come anytime, even today, because he is one of the 8 immortals. But it was not his era, so he did not manifest in his physical form in Mahabharata war. But in order to support his brother and to assist his beloved master, Shri Krishna, which was Shri Rama, Hanuman established himself as a symbol on the flag. So if it may seem to be only a symbol, but as we know the story of Mahabharata, so many weapons were fired at the chariot of Arjuna, but it did not damage the chariot because the flag holder was Hanumana. And at the end of war, we know the story in Mahabharata, when Krishna asked Arjuna to get down from the chariot. Arjuna said, no, you first get down. Lord Krishna said, no, you first get down. When Arjuna got down, after that Krishna got down, Shri Krishna got down from the chariot, the whole chariot went into fire. It was all protected by Hanumana all these days during the war. So that was the power, that was the involvement of Hanumana in the war of Mahabharata as well. The rest of the shloka says that at the time Arjuna took up his bow and prepared to fight shoot the first arrow. After looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra, who were standing in the form of a military formation, he spoke these words to whom? To Rishikesham Vakyamidamahamahi. We go to next shloka now. Rishikesham Dada Vakyamidamahamahi Arjunam Vacho Senayor Bhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapayamechyuta. Senayor Bhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapayamechyuta. Achyuta means Arjuna, Lord Krishna, please place my chariot between the two armies and hold it there, keep it there, till I have carefully observed the war-minded warriors with whom I have to fight this war. Let me see them. Achyuta Senayor Bhair Madhye Ratham Sthapaya. So two armies were standing against each other. They were stationed at such a distance from each other from where they could shoot the arrows against each other. Arjuna asked Lord Krishna to place his chariot in the middle. To begin with, Arjuna was valiant, very brave. But when he saw his kith and kin in the battle, he developed an attitude of disinterest in the war, being overtaken by the attachment with his friends, relatives, gurus, and all whatnot. It means that a man, in whatever circumstances he is, by making proper use of circumstances, can be free from desires and can realize God. Because God Paramatma always remains uniform in all the circumstances. Next loka says, Rishikeshanda Vakyamidama Mahipate, Senyor Verde, Tam Stapayamechyuta, Yavadetan Nirikshe Hai Yodhuka Manavastitan, Kairmaya Sah Yodhavyam Aspin Ranasamudyame. Slok number 22. So how long this chariot is to be kept between the two armies? Arjuna says, hold the chariot there till I carefully observe my enemies, the war-minded kings who have come here to fight the war, who are stationed in the army of Kauravas and with whom I have to wage the war. Let me see those heroes from their side with whom I have to encounter. Let me see also which of them are inferior, superior, or equal to me in their heroism, in their bravery. It's always a good practice to observe the enemy and then you plan the strategy. So Arjuna followed the same strategy to observe the enemy first. It is a different matter that after observing the enemy, his heart changed, and that caused the Geeta. So here, Yuddhu Kaman, Arjuna means to say that they have, Pandavas already had sent proposal for conciliation to Pandava. But Kauravas did not accept it. And they had the keen desire to wage the war. Among Kauravas, Duryodhana particularly had the keen desire to wage the war. So he wants to observe the warriors and their bravery, which makes them so confident to wage the war against Pandavas and against Arjuna in particular. Who are these people who have come here to fight war against me? Let me observe. So that was like a typical Kshatriya. Okay, we go to next sloka now, 23rd. Yotsamanana vekshe hanya etetra samagataha dhartarashtrasya durbuddhir yuddhe priyachikirshavaha. Yuddhe priyachikirshavaha. Yotsamanana vekshe hanya etetra samagataha dhartarashtrasya durbuddhir yuddhe priyachikirshavaha. Here Arjuna, by calling Duryodhana as evil-minded, Durbuddhe, he wants to convey how Duryodhana conspired for their destruction several times. He tried to kill Pandavas several times in the past, even when they were in the Vanvasa or when they're in that place of incognito. He tried several times to kill Pandavas. Arjuna says, we are the lawful owner of half of the empire of this Hastinapur, of Indraprastha, but he wants to snatch away everything. He is evil-minded. He is Durbuddhi person. And these kings who have assembled here to try to do good with him, to support him. But the duty of a friend honestly should be to give him such advice as may add to his welfare now. They should have advised Duryodhana not to enter into war and make some kind of conciliation with Pandavas. Give them something and close the issue. So instead of doing that, these kings have joined Duryodhana in fighting the war. So Arjuna was very curious to know how these people, instead of advising Duryodhana not to take the war, they have come here in support of Duryodhana to fight a war against Pandavas. Who are these characters? Who are these people? And how they could develop this strong desire to fight a war? So as friends, they should have advised him to rule over half of the kingdom and hand over the half to Pandavas. Thus he would have been ruled, he could have ruled half of the empire, and his life in the next world could also have been protected because he had not done any papa karma in that case. As per agreement, he handed over half to Pandavas. So it is happy situation, win-win situation for both Kauravas and Pandavas. But Duryodhana, being a Durbuddhi person, he did not do it. Yotsamanana vekshaham yetetra samagataha. He says, Arjuna, I want to observe the warriors who are so impatient to wage war against us. They have favored the unrighteous side and injustice. So they are sure to get ruined in the war because unjust side gets ruined. Unrighteousness side gets ruined in the war. Let me see who are those people. Yotsamanana, in this Arjuna wants to see those who have that keen desire to fight the war. Okay, we go to next sloka now, 24. Evamukto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata. This is Sanjaya Vacha. Sanjaya Vacha. Evamukto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata. Senayor Bhayor Madhye Stapayatva Rathottamam. We'll take 25th also. Bhishmadrona Pramukadas Sarvesha Mahikshtam. Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan Samavetan Kuru Niti. Evamukto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata Senayor Bhayor Madhye Stapayatva Rathottamam. Bhishmadrona Pramukadas Sarvesha Mahikshtam. Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan Samavetan Kuru Niti. Now here Gudakesh. Gudakesh has two meanings. Guda means curled and Kesha means hair. So it means one having curly hair. So Arjuna was a Gudakesh. She had curly hair. Guda control over sleep. If he decides I will sleep for 2 hours and 10 minutes, after 2 or 10 minutes he will wake up. That is his control over the sleep. So that person also called Gudakesh. Now Gudakesh, Arjuna was Gudakesh in the both senses. He had curly hair and he had control over his sleep also. Eva Mukta, one who is not slave to sleep, idleness and the materialistic pleasure, but he is a devotee of God, slave to the God. God listens to such a person and even follows his instructions, like Arjuna, Krishna followed instructions of Arjuna. You be my charioteer, okay. You take my chariot here, Shenayur Bhair Madhye, okay. So he followed his orders. So in order to carry out the wish of his devotee friend Arjuna, Lord Krishna placed the chariot between the two armies. Evam Uktva. Evam Uktva. After saying like this. Rishikesha. Rishikesh, Rishi means senses. Rishikesha means the Lord of senses. Arjuna, Krishna was the Lord of senses. Who is the inspirer of mind, intellect and senses is Lord Krishna, Rishikesh, who commands the whole world. And he has come as a chariot driver to carry out Arjuna's wish. It shows how kind Lord Krishna was to Arjuna. Senayor Bhair Madhye Sthapayitva Rathottamam. As instructed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna stationed Arjuna's chariot, Ratha, in the open space between the two armies. Vishmadrona Paramgata Sarvain Chaicha Mahikshitam. Oh my God. Now the Arjuna Vishad will start. Lord Krishna placed the chariot at such a point from where he could see Bhishma, Dronacharya, all the chief kings and warriors of Kaurava army. Uvacha Partha Pashaitan Samavetan Kuru Niti. Lord Krishna says, see all the Kuru dynasty people standing here. He did not say Dhartarashtra, not the sons of Dhartarashtra, but Kuru. Kuru was the dynasty of Pandavas as well. So probably Krishna wanted to tell Arjuna that this is Kuru versus Kuru war. You will be fighting against your own people. You are also Kuru dynasty. Kaurava was also Kuru dynasty. To probably instill a feeling of some kind of fear in the Arjuna, whether to take war against his relations, his friends, his gurus, who belong to the same dynasty as him, Kuru. If that had not happened, and if he had used the word Dhartarashtra, sons of Dhartarashtra, probably Arjuna would have started the war. But saying Kuru, probably it stressed that they are also belonging to the same dynasty as you. So would you like to take the war? Now that probably caused the Geeta. When Arjuna saw all the enemies, Bhishma, Drona, Paramgata, Sarma, Chaicha, Mahikshitam, so that caused the war of Mahabharata. Rest of the shlokas we'll take in the next session. Thank you so very much. Jai Shri Krishna. And now the four.
Thank you, Bhaiya. That was an enlightening session. And Bhaiya dealt in detail about the Kaurava and Pandava Senas, their shanks, about Bhima meeting Hanuman, his elder brother, Hanuman's advice to Bhima, and so on. We will be seeing more of this in the coming sessions. Now it's time for question and answers. I request those who want to ask questions to raise their hands and switch on their cameras and wait for their turn. Yeah. Any hand raises, Bhaiya?
Feel free to raise your questions if any.
Hey, just wait, madam. Wait for a minute.
Yes. If anyone has questions, please raise your hands so that we can unmute you.
I think nobody's there.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we'll end the session, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the, yeah, 1 second.
If you have any questions, you can ask in the next section also. No problem.
Yeah. So, yeah. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Vikas Vaidyaji. On behalf of Geeta Parivar and myself, I extend sincere thanks to the technical team consisting of Kailas Boravakeji and all those who have been at the backstage for their relentless and efficient efforts in making this session a great success. May I take this opportunity to thank all those who attended this session. Please do continue your Geeta sadhana and attend these sessions to enrich your spiritual knowledge. Today, Samapan Pratana is by Rongala Padmalata ji from Machavaram. Didi is MCA and homemaker. Padmaji joined Geeta Parivar in January 2022. And
I think she has not joined yet. You may take the prayer.
oh, okay. But I would like to give information about her because it's nice. She has passed Pathak exam, that is by hearting 6 chapters. Didi is a trainer as well as sadhak of L4. That's the beauty of Geeta Parivar. You can learn and teach at the same time. That's Geeta Padhe, Padhaye aur Jeevan mein utare. Learn Geeta, teach Geeta, and live Geeta. Such a beautiful concept. Let's invoke the blessings of Bhagavan Krishna. I think Didi has not joined, so let me take that opportunity. Yogesham Satchidanandam Vasudevam Vrajapriyam Dharma Samsthapakam Viram Krishna Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishna Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna.
Ask them to stay for Hanuman Chalisa.
Yeah, we have a recital of Hanuman Chalisa now. Please be present for the recital. Yeah, Bhaiya, recital please.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर विमल जसु जोदायकु फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसतिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्त न धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा कीजय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय।
Thank you everyone for being there for the Hanuman Chalisa recital. May our week ahead be brighter and more beautiful. We shall see you back on another enlightening